Words, as invisible blueprints of wealth, carry within them a mysterious but undeniable creative force. Every time you open your mouth to speak, you are not simply producing sound, you are designing the architecture of your reality. Just as an architect sits down to draft a building before the first brick is ever laid, so do your words draft the unseen blueprint of your financial future. They are invisible, yes, but invisibility does not mean powerlessness. In fact, it is often the invisible that shapes the visible. The unseen roots of a tree hold up the mighty trunk. The hidden foundation of a house holds its weight. Likewise, the unseen pattern of your words holds the shape of your life. When you speak, "I am prosperous, I am wealthy, I am open to financial miracles," you are drawing detailed lines upon the canvas of your destiny. Though you may not see immediate evidence, those words are already setting in motion unseen forces. Life begins to rearrange itself in accordance with the blueprint you have spoken. Conversations, opportunities, and even ideas that seem to come out of nowhere are drawn to you because your words have sent out a design that reality is now compelled to build. But the same principle applies in reverse. Careless words of lack, such as "I can't afford this," "I'm always broke," "money never stays with me," also form blueprints. They become invisible prisons that trap you in repeated cycles of lack. Each time you repeat those statements, you reinforce the walls of that prison, brick by brick, until it feels unshakable. Yet those walls are only made of words, and words can be torn down by replacing them with new ones. The tongue, though small, is a master builder. It lays out patterns the mind follows, and the mind draws experiences into harmony with those patterns. That is why two people can live in the same world, face the same economy, and yet one prospers while the other struggles. The difference is not chance, it is blueprint. One has spoken wealth, the other has spoken lack. One has planted seeds of abundance, the other has planted weeds of limitation. Every fortune begins with a word. Every success story, every empire, every breakthrough was first spoken aloud by someone who dared to declare it possible. Your words create a vibrational design, and that design calls forth matching realities. You need not wait for proof before you speak. You speak in order to create the proof. Just as the blueprint comes before the building, your words come before the money. Speak as though it already is, and soon it will be. The law of expectancy in speech is one of the most powerful yet often overlooked principles in the creation of wealth. Expectancy is not merely wishing, nor is it blind hope. It is a deep inner conviction that what you declare will happen, must happen, and cannot fail to happen. When you speak with expectancy, you are not speaking as a beggar pleading for scraps, but as a commander giving orders to the universe. You are issuing instructions to life itself, and life, by law, responds. Money, opportunities, and prosperity are not random accidents. They are drawn by the magnetic pull of expectancy. If your words are heavy with doubt, you push prosperity away. When you say things like, "I don't think I'll ever make it," or "I'll probably just keep struggling," your words carry no expectancy, only resignation. And resignation is a blueprint for stagnation. But when your speech is alive with certainty, "I expect unexpected money today," "I expect doors of opportunity to open for me," "I expect wealth to flow in ways beyond my imagination," then you align yourself with the flow of abundance, and life has no choice but to mirror that expectation. This law is unyielding. It works in both directions. If you expect failure, you unconsciously prepare for it, speak for it, and make choices that bring it to pass. But if you expect success, you prepare for success, you speak like success, and your actions follow that line of thought until success manifests. Expectancy is a creative power because it is not neutral, it is directive. It pulls your energy, your focus, and your opportunities into alignment with what you anticipate. Think of a farmer who plants seeds in a field. When he plants corn, he expects corn, not wheat. He does not dig up the soil each day to see if it is working. He plants, waters, and expects the harvest, knowing the earth will do its part. Your words are seeds, and expectancy is the faith that refuses to doubt the harvest. You cannot plant words of prosperity and then sit in worry, wondering if anything will happen. You must expect results, knowing that the spoken word is law, and the harvest will appear in due time. Money answers to this law because expectancy carries authority. If you go to a store and place an order, you do not doubt whether the cashier will give you your item once you have paid. You expect it because the law of exchange is at work. In the same way, when you speak words of wealth with unwavering expectancy, you have placed an order in the spiritual realm. You have paid with faith. And the universe, bound by law, must deliver. Many people weaken their expectancy by mixing it with doubt. They say, I expect good things, but I know my luck is always bad. They declare, I expect opportunities, and then quickly add, but I'll probably miss out like before. These contradictions cancel the power of their expectancy. The law requires clarity, firmness, and unwavering conviction. Your words must be consistent with your expectation, and your expectation must be consistent with your words. The beautiful truth is this: expectancy is magnetic. When you expect good, you see good. You notice opportunities that others overlook. You are prepared when the chance comes because your expectancy trained you to be ready. Life bends to meet the posture of your expectation. This is why people who expect abundance seem to attract it effortlessly. They are aligned with the law, while those who expect struggle continue to reinforce it with their own words. So, train your tongue to speak with expectancy. Replace I hope with I expect. Replace maybe with certainly. Speak with the assurance that your words have authority, that your declarations are not empty sounds, but living seeds. Speak as if the harvest is already growing, and walk as if the results are already yours. The law of expectancy in speech does not wait for circumstances to agree. It creates circumstances. It does not depend on evidence. It produces evidence. It does not rely on chance. It commands order. When you align your words with expectancy, you set into motion forces greater than you, working tirelessly to deliver the prosperity you have declared. And so, speak today not with fear, not with hesitation, not with doubt, but with the bold certainty of one who knows that the law of expectancy never fails. Speak as a master of your destiny. Speak as one whose words command wealth. Speak with expectancy, and your words will become flesh. Your declarations will take form, and your life will overflow with the abundance you dared to expect. Breaking the chains of lack language is a turning point for anyone who desires to live in financial freedom, yet finds themselves repeatedly circling the same deserts of struggle and scarcity. Lack is not only a condition of the pocket, it is first a condition of the tongue. Words spoken in limitation create cycles that seem unbreakable until you realize that the prison walls were never made of stone. They were made of sentences, repeated so often that they hardened into reality. Listen to the way most people speak about money, and you will understand why money flees from them. Phrases such as, I can't afford that, money doesn't grow on trees, there's never enough to go around, or I'm broke, are not harmless expressions. They are commands issued to the universe, orders that life dutifully fulfills. Each repetition deepens the groove, carving a path of lack so well worn that the speaker becomes trapped walking it again and again. Words of lack are self-fulfilling prophecies. They are invisible chains tightening around your financial freedom. To break those chains, you must first recognize them. Awareness is the key that reveals how often you curse your own prosperity without realizing it. Every sigh of I never have enough, every complaint of things never work out for me, is a link in the chain. Once you see that language is not casual but creative, you begin to understand why life has mirrored your words so faithfully. Life is not mocking you, it is serving you. It is giving back exactly what you have been sending out. But the beauty of words is this: the same way they bound you, they can also free you. Just as negative declarations build chains, positive declarations break them. To replace the language of lack with the language of abundance is to take the master key and unlock the cell door. Where you once said, "I can't afford it," replace it with, "Money is always available to me in the right time and the right way." Where you once said, "I'm always broke," declare instead, "I am a magnet for money, and it flows to me with ease." These words are not fantasies. They are the first strokes of a new blueprint. They are the chisel that shatters the chains. Breaking the chains requires persistence. A prisoner who has worn shackles for years may still feel the weight of them even after they are removed. In the same way, your mind may still echo the old language of lack. That is why your new declarations must be steady, consistent, and unrelenting. Each time you say, "I am prosperous," you file away at the last remnants of the chain. Each time you say, "I live in the flow of abundance," you step farther from the prison. It is also vital to understand that words not only shape your reality, but also shape your identity. When you say, "I am poor," you are not just describing a condition. You are identifying with it. You are marrying yourself to lack. The chain becomes tighter because you have accepted it as who you are. But the moment you say, "I am wealthy, I am prosperous, I am abundant," you form a new identity, and reality must always conform to identity. A person who identifies as prosperous cannot stay poor for long because their words are magnetizing the experiences to match. Consider also how lack language affects your emotions. Each time you speak words of scarcity, you feel smaller, weaker, and more hopeless. The chain is not only financial, it is emotional and spiritual. But when you speak abundance, you feel a lift, a strength, a courage that propels you forward. The words not only change your outer world, but energize your inner being. They shift your posture from defeat to victory, and that shift opens the gates for prosperity to enter. Breaking the chains of lack language also requires silence at times. When the temptation arises to complain about bills, rising costs, or financial struggles, silence becomes your shield. Instead of reinforcing the old pattern by speaking it, you withhold your energy until you are ready to release words of power. To stay silent when negative words press against your tongue is a victory in itself, for it stops the cycle of lack from gaining new momentum. Then, once you are grounded, you replace the silence with declarations of abundance. Understand this: abundance begins with speech, not with money. A person who suddenly acquires wealth but keeps the language of lack will soon lose it all. But a person who adopts the language of abundance will eventually create wealth, even if they start with nothing. It is not the bank account that determines prosperity, it is the tongue. The tongue is the pen that writes the checks of tomorrow. So, break the chains, refuse to repeat the words that have cursed your prosperity. Tear down the old sentences and build new ones. Let your speech be filled with expectancy, faith, and gratitude. Say, "I always have more than enough. Money comes to me in expected and unexpected ways. I live in a universe of unlimited supply." Say it not once but daily, not timidly but boldly, until the language of lack no longer even feels natural on your lips. Every time you open your mouth, you are either strengthening chains or shattering them. Choose today to be the chain breaker. Choose to let your words free you. For when the language of lack is silenced and the language of abundance rises in its place, the prison of scarcity crumbles, and you step into the wide, open field of prosperity that was waiting for you all along. Faith-filled words as creative forces carry within them the essence of divine law. A word by itself may be sound, a vibration in the air that vanishes quickly, but a word clothed in faith becomes alive, magnetic, and unstoppable. It ceases to be mere language and becomes command. Faith takes the ordinary and charges it with extraordinary power, turning phrases into forces that mold reality. When you speak with faith, you are not describing what is, you are creating what will be. Think of a seed placed in the ground. By itself, it looks small and powerless, but inside it lies the design for a tree, for fruit, for a forest. Words are seeds, but faith is the soil that gives them life. Without soil, a seed cannot grow. Without faith, words fall lifeless. Yet when faith surrounds the word cannot remain invisible. It must grow. It must push through the unseen and appear in form. This is the creative law at work, unchangeable and sure. Faith-filled words hold certainty even when circumstances disagree. Anyone can say, "I am prosperous," when their bank account is overflowing. But when you say, "I am prosperous," while staring at unpaid bills, you are calling things that are not as though they are. That is the essence of creation. Faith does not borrow its confidence from what it sees, it creates what it sees. To speak wealth in the face of lack is to plant the seed of transformation. To declare opportunity in the midst of closed doors is to summon the key that unlocks them. These words are magnetic because they carry belief. Belief draws in circumstances, people, and resources that align with the declaration. Someone who continually speaks with faith begins to notice ideas, connections, and solutions they would have overlooked before. The magnetism of their words pulls the invisible into visibility. It is not magic, it is law. Energy responds to focus, and faith-filled speech focuses energy with precision. Faith-filled words are also creative because they bypass fear. Fear speaks of what could go wrong. Faith speaks of what must go right. When your tongue aligns with faith instead of fear, you rewrite the narrative of your life. Fear builds barriers, but faith builds bridges. Fear says, "I'll never have enough." Faith says, "I always have more than enough." Fear imagines collapse, faith imagines overflow, and the one you consistently speak is the one that must materialize. There is a creative rhythm to faith-filled words. When you declare prosperity every morning, when you affirm abundance every night, you set into motion a vibration that gathers momentum. At first, the changes may be small, an unexpected discount, a new client, a timely gift. But each manifestation confirms the power of your words, strengthening your faith, giving your declarations more weight. Over time, what began as a faint echo becomes a roaring truth, a reality so solid that nothing can shake it. This creative force also transforms identity. Words spoken with faith enter your subconscious and alter the way you see yourself. When you repeatedly say, "I am wealthy, I am abundant, I am a magnet for money," those statements stop being affirmations and become self-definitions. And once you believe yourself to be wealthy, you cannot help but act, choose, and attract as a wealthy person does. Faith-filled words write the script, and your life becomes the performance. Even silence is changed by faith-filled speech. A person who has trained their tongue to declare abundance will find it easier to resist speaking lack. Their silence is not empty, it is pregnant with expectancy. Their inner dialogue mirrors their outer declarations. The more they speak with faith, the less room doubt has to survive. In time, even their thoughts bow to the creative authority of their words. Consider also how faith-filled words ripple outward. They do not only change the speaker, they shift the atmosphere around them. When spoken in homes, they create environments of peace and expectation. When declared in business, they open doors and inspire confidence in others. Faith-filled words carry an energy that others can feel, even if they cannot explain it. They sense your certainty, and your certainty awakens theirs. To live without faith in your words is to live as a leaf blown by the wind, carried by circumstances and conditions outside your control. But to live with faith-filled words is to become the wind itself, directing the course of events with unseen authority. You cease waiting for chance and begin creating by choice. You no longer beg life for scraps. You declare the feast and watch as life prepares the table. Every fortune, every breakthrough, every transformation begins with a word spoken in faith. It may be whispered in the quiet of the night, or shouted with conviction in the morning sun, but once released, it travels outward, gathering matter and momentum until it takes form. That is why you must guard your tongue carefully. Words without faith may wound, delay, or confuse. Words with faith will always create. So speak not as one uncertain, but as one who knows. Speak with the assurance that what you declare must appear. Speak with the conviction of a builder drawing the lines of a structure that already exists in vision. Your faith is the substance, your words are the tools, and your life is the building. Faith-filled words are not suggestions. They are laws, creative commands that summon wealth, opportunities, and abundance from the unseen into the seen. For when faith fills your words, those words no longer drift away into nothingness. They become alive, creative, and magnetic. They shape identity, shift environments, draw resources, and command reality. Speak them boldly, speak them daily, speak them until your tongue knows no other language. And soon, what was once invisible will stand before you in visible form, undeniable proof that your words, clothed in faith, were the true creative forces all along. Gratitude as verbal multiplication is one of the most underestimated forces in the creation of wealth and abundance. Gratitude itself is powerful, but when gratitude is spoken aloud, it takes on an even greater creative potency. Words of thankfulness carry the vibration of increase. They not only acknowledge what already exists, but they send out an energetic command that says, "More of this, please." Gratitude is the multiplier of blessings, and your voice is the channel through which multiplication begins. Think of money as a friend. How does a friend respond when they are appreciated? They draw closer, they want to give more, they feel valued. But when ignored or criticized, they withdraw. Money behaves the same way. When you say aloud, "I am thankful for the money I have, thankful for every bill that is paid, thankful for every opportunity that comes my way," you are honoring money. You are treating it as a respected ally, and in return, it draws closer. Spoken gratitude becomes an invitation for money to increase and multiply in your life. Gratitude transforms the smallest coin into the seed of a fortune. A person who looks at the few dollars in their hand and complains will repel the possibility of more. But one who looks at those same dollars and says, "Thank you for this. Thank you that more is on the way. Thank you that this is only the beginning," unlocks the law of multiplication. The words of gratitude water the seed, and what was small begins to expand. Life responds not to complaint but to thanksgiving. There is also a subtle alchemy in gratitude. Complaining shrinks the soul, but gratitude enlarges it. Spoken gratitude shifts your focus from lack to abundance. Each time you say, "I am grateful," you train your mind to see increase rather than deficiency, and what you consistently focus on becomes your reality. Gratitude alters your perception, and your perception alters your world. Through grateful speech, you reprogram your subconscious mind to expect growth instead of loss, and that expectation becomes law. Spoken gratitude also activates joy, and joy is magnetic to prosperity. Joy opens doors that worry and fear cannot. When you say aloud, "I am so grateful for the unexpected money that has found its way to me, and I am excited for what is coming next," you align yourself with a frequency that calls forth abundance. Gratitude and joy together form a vibration so strong that opportunities, people, and resources cannot help but be drawn to you. Consider how gratitude changes the way you view challenges. Most people curse their bills, complain about expenses, and grumble about obligations. But what if you turn those moments into declarations of gratitude, instead of saying, "This bill is draining me"? You say, "I am grateful that I had the money to cover this bill. I am grateful for the service it represents, and I am grateful that more supply is already on its way to me." The energy shifts instantly. The bill no longer feels like a burden. It becomes evidence of provision. That shift of perception attracts even greater provision. Verbal gratitude is also contagious. When spoken in homes, it creates an atmosphere where everyone feels blessed and expectant. When spoken in businesses, it inspires teams, uplifts clients, and attracts prosperity. Gratitude spoken aloud releases an energy that touches not just your own life, but the lives of those around you. It multiplies not only money, but harmony, opportunity, and connection. The law of multiplication through gratitude is not theoretical, it is demonstrable. Those who make gratitude their language find that doors open, debts dissolve, and resources appear in ways they could not have calculated. Life mirrors the tone of your words, and a tone of gratitude produces reflections of blessing. Every thank you spoken aloud is like dropping a stone into a pond. The ripples extend far beyond what the eye can see, touching places you did not even realize were connected. Gratitude also removes resistance. Complaint creates tension, and tension blocks flow. But gratitude relaxes the spirit, opens the heart, and makes room for more. It is like opening a clenched fist. The moment you release it, space is created for new gifts to enter. When you say, "I am thankful for every good thing flowing into my life now," you are opening your hand to receive, and the universe rushes to fill it. Even in times of apparent lack, gratitude multiplies. Saying, "Thank you for what I have, thank you for what is coming, thank you that abundance is my natural state," sets in motion a creative law. The unseen begins to rearrange itself to bring increase. Gratitude spoken in faith during scarcity is one of the most powerful forces on earth, for it declares multiplication even before it appears, and what you declare with gratitude must manifest, so make gratitude your daily language. Speak it in the morning when you rise, speak it at night before you sleep, speak it over your money, your work, your opportunities. Do not let a single day pass without opening your mouth to say, "Thank you." For each spoken word of gratitude is a seed of multiplication, and each seed will grow into a harvest greater than the one before. Gratitude multiplies because it aligns you with the law of increase. The more you thank, the more you receive. The more you speak thanks aloud, the more life rushes to echo back your words in visible abundance. Gratitude is not just politeness, it is creative law. And when it flows from your tongue, it multiplies your money, multiplies your opportunities, multiplies your joy, until your life becomes a living testimony that thanksgiving always produces increase. Declarations form identity, and identity shapes destiny. Every word spoken about yourself carves out the image you hold within, and that inner image becomes the blueprint of your life. When you declare, "I am prosperous," you are not merely describing a condition, you are defining who you are. And who you are determines what you attract, how you act, and what you allow into your experience. Words spoken consistently and with conviction do not stay outside of you. They penetrate the subconscious and form the very core of your identity. Most people live in contradiction. They desire wealth but declare lack. They long for success but say, "I can never get ahead." These declarations become silent commands to the subconscious mind, and the subconscious, ever obedient, fulfills them. You cannot declare poverty daily and expect abundance to surprise you. You cannot say, "Money slips through my hands," and then wonder why it never stays. The words you declare are not fleeting. They are laws written into the fabric of your being. When you begin to declare wealth, abundance, and success, you are not pretending. You are creating a new self-image. Declarations are not lies. They are seeds of truth waiting to manifest. A farmer does not call the seed in the ground a lie because it has not yet become a tree. In the same way, when you say, "I am wealthy, I am abundant, I am favored," you are speaking of the unseen identity that is already forming within you, soon to appear in visible reality. Identity is powerful because it governs behavior. A person who sees themselves as poor will make decisions from scarcity. They will shrink back from opportunities, spend out of fear, and sabotage their progress. But one who declares daily, I am wealthy, begins to act like wealth is natural. They will invest with confidence, seize opportunities, and carry themselves with a magnetism that attracts more. The identity created by declarations becomes the foundation for new habits, choices, and actions that lead inevitably to prosperity. Declarations also silence the voice of contradiction. The world is filled with messages of lack, limitation, and fear. Advertisements tell you what you are missing, society whispers what you cannot do, and people echo their own limitations onto you. But declarations form a shield of identity. When you boldly say, I am more than enough, I am guided, I am provided for, you create a strong internal truth that no external voice can easily penetrate. Your words become the anchor that holds you steady in the storm of negativity. The rhythm of declarations is also crucial. One spoken word may stir the air, but repeated declarations carve stone. Every time you declare wealth, you deepen the groove of that identity in your subconscious. At first, it may feel strange, even unbelievable, but repetition is the hammer that breaks resistance. Eventually, the mind accepts the declaration as reality, and once accepted, it must appear in form. Consistency in declaration transforms belief into knowing, and knowing is the true birthplace of manifestation. Declarations form identity because words spoken with emotion are imprinted into the subconscious. The mind does not resist a declaration said with conviction, it absorbs it. Say weakly, I guess I am abundant, and nothing changes. But declare boldly, I am abundance in motion, I am money's perfect expression, I am wealthy beyond measure. And your subconscious receives it as instruction. The subconscious does not argue, it obeys, and soon your outer life mirrors your inner script. Consider also how identity affects attraction. People are drawn to those who know who they are. A person who declares their abundance walks into a room with confidence, and opportunities seem to find them. They are trusted with responsibility, offered chances, and chosen for favor because their energy aligns with prosperity. Declarations form that energy. Identity broadcasts itself silently, and the world responds. Declarations also heal the inner self. Many carry wounds from the past. Words spoken by parents, teachers, or peers that said, "You're not enough, you'll never succeed." These words formed an identity of lack and limitation. But declarations of abundance, repeated with faith, overwrite those wounds. Each declaration is a brushstroke painting over an old canvas, until the image of defeat is completely replaced by the masterpiece of success. In truth, declarations are not just words spoken outwardly. They are contracts written inwardly. Every time you say, I am, you are signing your name to a contract with destiny. The universe takes those contracts seriously. Say, I am broke, and the contract is fulfilled. Say, I am wealthy, and the fulfillment begins. This is why you must guard the two words I am more carefully than any others. They are the most powerful declarations of identity, and identity is everything. When you align your declarations with the wealth and abundance you seek, your identity expands to hold them. Your actions follow, your environment shifts, your opportunities increase, and your reality transforms. The wealth was not separate from you. It was waiting for you to declare it as your identity. Therefore, speak boldly. Let your mouth be the sculptor of your destiny. Declare who you are, not who you fear you may be. Declare wealth, declare abundance, declare success until they are woven into the fabric of your being. For in the end, it is not what the world says about you that matters. It is what you declare about yourself. Declarations form identity, identity shapes destiny, and destiny fulfills itself according to the words spoken in faith. Silence as a shield for money energy is one of the most overlooked spiritual disciplines in the creation and preservation of wealth. Just as a seed requires the dark, quiet soil to grow undisturbed, so too does the energy of money require silence at certain stages to flourish. Not every dream should be spoken aloud in its infancy. Not every vision should be shared with curious ears. Silence guards your money energy, keeping it free from interference, doubt, and destructive words. The tongue has the power to create, but it also has the power to destroy. When you broadcast your financial goals or reveal your inner visions to those who cannot understand them, you risk planting your seed in stony ground. Doubt, envy, or negativity from others can act as weeds that choke the tender growth of your manifestation. Silence, therefore, is not weakness, it is protection. It creates a sacred boundary around your wealth consciousness, allowing your spoken words of faith to take root and grow strong before being exposed to the outside world. There is a time to speak and a time to remain silent. The wise know when to release their words and when to withhold them. Too often, people sabotage their prosperity by announcing every step of their plans, only to face ridicule, skepticism, or subtle discouragement. The energy of money thrives in confidence, not in explanation. When you keep silent about your wealth journey, you prevent the dilution of your energy. You refuse to give others the chance to cast shadows over your light. Silence is also a tool for conserving power. Every word you speak is an expenditure of energy. Idle chatter about lack, gossip about others, or unnecessary conversations about your financial affairs all leak energy that could have been directed toward creation. When you embrace silence, you are storing spiritual power. That stored energy strengthens your declarations, makes your affirmations more potent, and gives your words the force of conviction when you do choose to speak. Silence also shields you from complaint. One of the greatest thieves of money energy is the habit of voicing dissatisfaction, complaining about bills, about expenses, about the seeming lack of opportunity. Silence breaks that cycle. By refusing to give complaint a voice, you starve it of life. Instead, you preserve your energy for gratitude, for affirmations, for declarations of abundance. In this way, silence becomes an ally of increase. Furthermore, silence deepens inner listening. In the quiet, you hear the whispers of intuition, the guidance of spirit, the ideas that lead to increase. The noise of constant speech often drowns out these inner directions. But when you cultivate silence, you attune yourself to divine guidance, and divine guidance is always prosperous. Silence opens the channel for inspiration that brings money, opportunities, and unexpected supply. Silence is also a form of dignity. Those who are truly wealthy in consciousness do not need to prove themselves with loud boasts or endless talk. They carry their abundance with quiet assurance. Their silence communicates confidence. They are not desperate for validation or approval because they know who they are and what they possess. In this way, silence itself becomes magnetic, drawing respect, trust, and opportunities without a word being spoken. Consider also that silence protects timing. Many opportunities are lost because they were spoken too soon, exposed to scrutiny before they had ripened. Silence allows your dreams to mature in the secret place before bringing them into the light. Just as a flower cannot be forced to bloom before its season, your financial goals require time to develop. Silence shields them until the perfect moment of unveiling, when they are strong enough to withstand the winds of opinion. Silence is not the absence of creation, it is the womb of creation. In the silence of your thoughts, you rehearse your affirmations, you visualize your wealth, you feel the emotions of abundance. These silent practices gather immense energy, which bursts forth when spoken at the right time. Silence is the pause before the powerful note, the stillness before the breakthrough. It is not emptiness, it is potential. In truth, silence is a shield not only against others, but also against yourself. How often do people undo their own prosperity by speaking words of doubt immediately after words of faith? They declare, "I am abundant," and then in the next breath say, "But money is so hard to come by." Silence would have preserved their energy. Unnecessary words sabotaged it. Learning when not to speak is as vital as learning what to speak. Therefore, guard your money energy with silence. Speak your declarations with faith, but do not cast your pearls before swine. Keep your visions sacred until they are strong enough to stand in the open. Refuse to waste words on complaint, gossip, or explanation. Let silence be your shield, protecting your prosperity, conserving your power, and amplifying your voice when you do speak. For in silence, your money energy is kept safe, your spirit is strengthened, and your wealth grows undisturbed until the perfect time to reveal its fruit. The law of correspondence in speech is one of the most profound truths governing wealth, success, and the reality you live in each day. It states simply, as within, so without, as above, so below, as you speak, so it becomes. Speech is not idle sound. It is the echo of your inner state, the mirror of your beliefs, the vibration of your consciousness made audible. What you declare with your lips reveals the world you are shaping in the unseen, and that unseen world unfailingly projects itself into form. Every word you speak corresponds to a deeper belief within. If you continually say, "I can't afford that," you are not describing your situation. You are affirming your identity. You are announcing to the universe, "This is who I am. This is the level I operate at." And the universe, which always obeys the law of correspondence, reflects back to you more of the same. It is not punishment, it is law. Speech exposes the blueprint of your inner world, and life has no choice but to build according to that design. The law of correspondence makes clear why it is vital to guard your words. What you say consistently reveals the vibration you are living in. Speak of lack, and lack becomes your experience. Speak of abundance, and abundance is drawn to you. Words are bridges between inner and outer, invisible and visible, spirit and matter. Each sentence is a transaction between your mind and the universe, a contract of correspondence that life fulfills without fail. Consider how this operates in money consciousness. A person who often says, "Money is hard to come by," is not only expressing frustration, they are invoking the law. Their outer world begins to align with that statement. Opportunities slip away, resources dry up, and money seems to resist their grasp. Yet another person declares, "Money flows to me easily and constantly." And because the inner and outer must correspond, their life reorganizes itself to honor that truth. The speech reveals the belief shapes the vibration, and the vibration shapes the result. Speech also reveals the level of expectancy you live in. The one who says, "Something always goes wrong for me," will surely find that things continue to go wrong. Why? Because their words are not mere predictions, they are correspondences. They are agreements between inner expectation and outer manifestation. But the one who declares, "Things are always working out for me," sets in motion a chain of events that align with that vibration. Life bends to the rhythm of their words. The law of correspondence in speech shows why idle talk is never truly idle. Every casual phrase, every repeated saying, is a seed that falls into the soil of consciousness. Some seeds sprout instantly, others lie dormant until nourished by repetition or emotion. But nothing spoken is wasted. Words are creative forces, and each one corresponds to an effect. Speak long enough about poverty, and it will find you. Speak long enough about wealth, and it cannot avoid you. This law also explains why declarations are so powerful. When you deliberately speak words of abundance, even before you see evidence of them, you are planting new seeds of correspondence. At first, it may seem false, for the outer world still reflects the old speech. But keep declaring, keep speaking in alignment with abundance, and the inner state begins to shift. The subconscious accepts the new script. Once the inner has changed, the outer must correspond. The new declarations summon a new reality into being. The beauty of this law is its impartiality. It does not judge your words, it fulfills them. Speak life or speak death, speak wealth or speak lack. The law responds equally. It is like a mirror, it reflects exactly what you project. If you do not like what you see, you cannot shatter the mirror. You must change the image you present. Change your words and you change the reflection. Silence, too, plays a role here. When you refuse to speak words of complaint or defeat, you halt the correspondence of lack. You interrupt the cycle. Silence creates space for new speech to take root. In those pauses, you can shift your inner state so that when you do speak again, your words align with abundance, faith, and prosperity. The law of correspondence in speech is both a warning and a promise. It warns you that careless words create careless results, but it promises you that intentional, faith-filled gratitude, rich words create intentional, prosperous results. There is no separation between your inner life and your outer experience. Your speech is the bridge. As within, so without, as you speak, so it becomes. So let your words correspond with the wealth you desire, not the lack you fear. Let your tongue echo the abundance you claim, not the scarcity you see. Speak only what you wish multiplied. Speak as though the law is always listening, because it is. Every word is a command, every declaration a seed, every phrase a prophecy. Align your speech with the life you desire, and the law of correspondence will ensure that life appears in fullness, in power, in undeniable reality. Forgiveness releases money blocks because resentment, bitterness, and old wounds act like chains that tie your wealth energy to the past. Money is a current, it flows like a river, but unforgiveness throws stones into that river, creating blockages that slow the current or stop it altogether. When you hold on to anger toward others, yourself, or even toward life itself, you are unconsciously telling the universe, I am not ready to receive. Forgiveness clears the channel. It dissolves the barriers and restores the flow of prosperity. Think of your heart as a container of energy. Every grudge you hold is like a stone dropped into that container, taking up space where abundance could dwell. Soon the container feels heavy, burdened, and clogged. Forgiveness is the act of emptying out those stones. It is not weakness, it is freedom. It is not saying that the offense was right. It is declaring that nothing is worth blocking your prosperity. The moment you forgive, you reclaim your power and open wide the gates through which money can flow. Many people are unaware of how unforgiveness leaks into their financial lives. They may harbor anger toward a business partner who betrayed them, and that anger becomes a subconscious belief that all business dealings are dangerous. They may resent a family member who misused money, and that resentment creates fear of trusting themselves with wealth. They may even resent themselves for past mistakes, and that guilt becomes a ceiling they cannot rise above. Forgiveness sweeps all this away. It breaks the agreement with pain and makes a new agreement with freedom. Forgiveness changes your vibration. When you hold grudges, you radiate contraction. That contraction repels abundance, for money flows where there is openness and trust. But when you forgive, you radiate release, peace, and expansion. Money is magnetized to that expansion. Opportunities feel safe to approach you. People sense the lightness of your energy and are drawn to collaborate, support, and invest in you. Forgiveness is not just an inner act. It has outer consequences that show up in the form of prosperity. Forgiveness is also an act of faith. To forgive is to trust that the universe has already balanced the scales, that you do not need to hold on to resentment in order to protect yourself. It is to believe that no one's wrongdoing can stop your good from reaching you. That faith positions you for overflow, because when you stop fighting battles of the past, you are free to march forward into new blessings. Your energy is no longer bound to old stories. It is invested fully in creating the wealth you desire. When you forgive yourself, you remove some of the most stubborn money blocks. Many people unconsciously punish themselves for mistakes with money, bad investments, overspending, poor decisions. They say, I don't deserve wealth because I failed before. That self-condemnation keeps them repeating cycles of lack. But when you forgive yourself, you release the need for punishment. You declare, I am free to prosper again. I have learned. I am worthy of a new beginning. That self-forgiveness is like turning the key in a locked door. The flow of abundance rushes in again. Forgiveness also transforms the story you tell. When you forgive, you no longer speak as a victim. You speak as a victor. Instead of rehearsing how you were wronged, you begin to declare how you overcame. This change of speech aligns you with prosperity, because prosperity does not flow to the language of bitterness. It flows to the language of faith, gratitude, and freedom. Forgiveness alters not only your heart but your tongue, and your words become powerful tools of creation once more. Consider how unforgiveness often shows up in the form of envy. To envy someone else's success is to resent them for having what you desire. That resentment is a block. It signals to the universe that you are pushing wealth away. But when you forgive and bless others for their prosperity, you align yourself with it. You say, "What is theirs, and what is mine is on its way." Blessing others opens the door for your own blessings to arrive. Forgiveness is also a multiplier of gratitude. When you release others and yourself, your heart becomes lighter, freer, more thankful. Gratitude multiplies money, as we have seen, and forgiveness creates the space for gratitude to flourish. A bitter heart cannot truly give thanks. A forgiving heart overflows with it. That thanksgiving becomes verbal multiplication, drawing more wealth into your life. Ultimately, forgiveness is an act of wealth consciousness. To forgive is to say, "I am so abundant in spirit that nothing can take from me. I release all debts owed to me, for I live in overflow. I do not cling to wrongs, because I know that my supply comes from the infinite source, not from any one person." That declaration opens the floodgates. Suddenly, you find money arriving through unexpected avenues, opportunities presenting themselves where none existed before, and the weight of old pain dissolving into the joy of new prosperity. Forgiveness is freedom, and freedom is wealth. Each time you forgive, you untie a knot in the rope that has been holding back your prosperity. Each time you forgive, you say to the universe, "I am ready to receive unhindered. I am ready for the flow." Forgiveness releases money blocks, clears the current, restores the rhythm of abundance, and makes room for blessings too great to be contained. Vision brought to life through spoken word is one of the deepest demonstrations of the creative power of language. Every great achievement, every fortune, every invention, every empire began first as an invisible vision within someone's mind. But vision alone is not enough. It is speech that breathes life into vision, speech that shapes the unseen into the seen, speech that calls the formless into form. Words are the bridge between imagination and manifestation. When you carry a vision in silence, it is like a painting hidden in the heart of an artist. It exists, but it remains unseen. Yet the moment you speak that vision aloud, "I will create wealth, I will live in abundance, I will prosper beyond measure," you give it breath. It begins to take on sound waves, vibrations, energy. It steps out of the realm of thought and into the realm of becoming. The spoken word is the spark that ignites vision into motion. Think of the architect. They see a building in their mind, but until they speak it, describe it, declare it, no one else can begin to build it. The blueprint starts in the imagination, but the words translate it into instructions, plans, and action. Your vision for money, success, and abundance works the same way. Your words are the blueprint. Each declaration is a line drawn, each affirmation a brick laid, each statement of faith a foundation poured. Without speech, vision can remain dormant. With speech, it begins to take shape. Spoken words do more than describe. They attract. When you speak your vision, you send out a signal that draws the people, resources, and opportunities needed to fulfill it. Words create resonance. Like a tuning fork, they vibrate at a frequency that calls to whatever matches them. When you say, "I am building a prosperous business," you attract customers, partners, and ideas aligned with that statement. When you say, "I live in constant abundance," your mind begins to notice possibilities, discounts, gifts, and streams of income that correspond to that vibration. Vision, once spoken, magnetizes reality toward itself. Spoken word also solidifies belief. A vision left unspoken can be doubted, questioned, even forgotten. But a vision spoken aloud becomes anchored in the subconscious. Each time you declare, I am wealthy, I am a magnet for money, I am living my vision now, you etch that vision deeper into your identity. Eventually, it is no longer something you are hoping for. It becomes something you are. An identity always seeks expression. Once you identify with your vision, the outer world has no choice but to mirror it. Vision expressed through speech also carries authority. When you declare a thing, you are not simply hoping, you are commanding. The spoken word is law to the subconscious, and the subconscious, in turn, organizes reality to match. That is why idle speech can be so dangerous. Every careless phrase is still a decree. But when you speak your vision with clarity and faith, you are issuing divine orders. Life rearranges itself to fulfill those orders, because words carry the vibration of creative law. Notice how speaking your vision brings clarity. A vision unspoken may feel vague, blurry, or overwhelming. But when you speak it, you are forced to give it shape. Words give form to thought, and form creates focus. Instead of, I want more money someday, you declare, I am creating streams of income that bring me $10,000 a month with ease. The vague becomes precise, and the precise can be manifested. Spoken words refine vision until it becomes practical, tangible, and achievable. The spoken word also awakens emotion, and emotion is fuel for manifestation. When you speak your vision aloud, you feel it more deeply. You can hear yourself say, I am wealthy beyond measure, and your heart begins to believe it. The sound of your own voice becomes a confirmation. That emotional charge amplifies the creative power of the vision. It is no longer just thought, it is thought clothed in vibration and feeling, which together summon reality into form. Consider how even in sacred texts creation begins with words, let there be. And it was so. The pattern is eternal. Vision plus word equals manifestation. You too carry that divine creative power. Each time you speak your vision aloud, you are echoing the same principle, calling forth light out of darkness, wealth out of lack, form out of the formless. There is also persistence in spoken vision. The more you declare it, the more momentum it gathers. At first, it may seem like nothing changes, but each spoken word is like striking a chisel against stone. Eventually, the stone breaks and the form hidden within is revealed. Every time you say, I am living my abundant vision, you are striking the chisel again. The persistence of speech guarantees that sooner or later, the invisible must yield to the visible. Vision brought to life through spoken word is not wishful thinking, it is law in motion. When you declare your vision, you align your inner world with your outer. You summon allies, opportunities, and resources. You train your subconscious to see paths where none seem to exist. You anchor your identity in the reality you are creating. You set into motion vibrations that cannot help but return to you as visible results. Therefore, do not keep your vision silent. Give it voice. Speak it daily. Speak it boldly. Speak it until the sound of it becomes more real to you than any present circumstance. Your words are the midwives of your vision. They deliver it from the womb of imagination into the world of form. Speak your vision into life and watch as the invisible takes shape before your very eyes. Living daily in the consciousness of spoken wealth is the art of making abundance not just an occasional affirmation, but a way of being. It is the practice of breathing wealth into every word, every thought, every interaction, until prosperity becomes the very air you live in. To live in this consciousness means you no longer wait for money to show up before you feel wealthy. You speak it, you declare it, you embody it, and then you live as though it were already true. Wealth consciousness is not about numbers in a bank account. It is a state of awareness, a vibration, a lens through which you view life. To dwell in it daily is to train your words to constantly align with abundance. You do not wake up and say, I hope things get better. You rise and declare, this day overflows with prosperity. Doors of opportunity are opening for me now. Each morning, your words become the key that unlocks the storehouse of your day. You decide in advance through your speech that money and blessings will flow to you. To live in spoken wealth consciousness, you also watch the little words that slip out unconsciously. The casual remarks, "I'm broke, money is tight, I can't afford it," may seem harmless, but they are seeds, and seeds grow whether or not you meant to plant them. Instead, you replace them with life-giving phrases. Money flows to me in expected and unexpected ways. I am always provided for. I have more than enough. Living daily in this consciousness means turning language into a constant stream of abundance signals that broadcast to the universe. This way of living requires consistency. One declaration made in the morning can be cancelled out by hours of complaint in the afternoon. The rhythm of your words must be steady, not occasional. Like a drumbeat, spoken wealth must resound throughout your day. Until your subconscious accepts it as truth and reality begins to mirror it back to you. Wealth consciousness is not a moment, it is a rhythm you live in. Living in spoken wealth consciousness also transforms how you respond to challenges. When an unexpected bill arrives, you do not declare lack. You speak abundance even then. This is already paid. Provision is here. Supply meets every demand. Your words create stability in the midst of uncertainty. They train your mind to see solutions instead of problems, to attract opportunities instead of setbacks. In conversations, you carry the wealth frequency. Instead of joining in complaints about lack, you elevate the atmosphere by speaking possibility, hope, and prosperity. People are drawn to that energy because wealth consciousness is magnetic. It not only attracts money, it attracts favor, support, and goodwill from others. When your words align with abundance, your presence becomes a channel for prosperity to flow to you and through you. Living daily in this consciousness also means embodying gratitude in speech. Every time money touches your hands, no matter how small, you say, "Thank you, this multiplies for me." Each gift, each payment, each coin becomes a testimony of abundance increasing. Gratitude in speech multiplies wealth consciousness until you see wealth everywhere, in opportunities, in relationships, in ideas. This is not about pretending. It is about training your words until they create a new reality. Speak wealth until you feel wealthy, and then live from that feeling until it becomes visible in your life. The words you speak daily are the soil, the vision is the seed, and faith is the sunlight. Together, they guarantee harvest. Living daily in the consciousness of spoken wealth is about persistence. You do not stop when results delay. You do not silence yourself when evidence seems contrary. You continue to speak because you know the law. Words create, and creation always follows order. Just as a planted seed takes time to grow, so do your spoken declarations. But once the harvest comes, it will be so abundant you will marvel at how it all began, with simple, consistent words spoken in faith. Therefore, make your entire life an atmosphere of wealth speech. Let your mornings be declarations, your afternoons be affirmations, your evenings be gratitude. Let your conversations carry prosperity, your self-talk reinforce abundance, and your responses radiate faith. In this way, you will not simply speak about wealth, you will live in the consciousness of it. And once you live there daily, wealth has no choice but to live with you.